Wendy Hines, we are so happy to have you here today at Who is Arizona.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We just you just delivered a speech.
Yes.
And the audience was giving you a real great round of applause, by the way.
Yes, they were a great audience.
Did they get your message about team success?
I think that they did. When it comes to teams and how they work together, it's very important for them to participate in how they do define success for themselves.
When you define a team, you're talking about a business, and
Yes.
about what size business is your sweet spot for who you help?
Anywhere from 3 onwards is suitable for team coaching. Small businesses starting out that are just starting with employees because they're learning from the ground up how to be a team together, as well as corporations that have existing teams that are very successful, and they're wanting to get to the next level, or at times, and one of the things I spoke about in my speech was when we get into overwhelm. When things get busy, people get overloaded, we forget to communicate, and our heads go down and we get it done.
So how do you go about opening them up to communication, the style of communication they need? How do you read that? Is it different for different people?
It is. I take a different approach from a team perspective, so I have a diagnostic tool that I use, so I can actually go in and measure team performance on 14 indicators. And then once we reveal that baseline to the team can decide how they want to work together, and they can decide the areas that they want to work on and redefine themselves as a team.
So you can get them to focus on what's most important to them and what they really attracts them to, yeah, we can do this.
Right, absolutely. We can do this and we can do it together. And then when they start to work together and own their performance and own how they are together, that's when you really see the magic happen.
So this could be as simple as an owner and their first 2 employees.
Absolutely.
How about a couple, like a husband and wife business? How would they do? They're hiring their very first employee, and you have a different setup there, wouldn't you, with having to deal with that?
You would, I think, from that perspective, if you have a family involvement,
a family business.
it would be really important to kind of go in with team coaching, because there's a lot of internal conflicts that can happen from a family dynamic. So this is a great way to iron out the agreements and how they're going to work together as a team from a company perspective.
You uncover a lot of different points, where their weaknesses are, where their strengths are, and you're just basically getting them to move the right direction.
Yes, and setting agreements. So, think of a time going into a business or a workplace where you can actually all agree ahead of time how you're going to work with each other, how you're going to deal with conflict, how are you going to deal with resources, how are you going to deal and how are you going to align with your goals and strategies. So when you go in there and you can make these agreements from the beginning, you really set the tone and the culture of what your organization is going to be like, and you've got equal participation in that.
Wendy, it sounds like you help new businesses that are at that size become more profitable.
Absolutely.
And how's the largest type of company do you work with?
The last team I was involved with was, the company itself was over $100 million in revenue. The team was a marketing team, and they were over 3 different geographies across Canada and the U.S. And so they were responsible for a large book of business. And with that marketing team, because they were virtual in different geographies, it was very easy for them to not connect, to not talk, to not share resources, share how they're doing things.
Were there certain tools that you use to get them to communicate when you have different geography, different locations spread out like that?
I use Zoom. I do a virtual coaching with them, so it's usually a combination of live, like a first few sessions live with the team together, and then we go into a virtual, because that's their normal. Their normal is a virtual. So I try to meet the teams where they are. And really work within their environment. And with the diagnostic model, and when you can actually do an assessment based on the team, and the team can see themselves, then they can start making real choices on what their behavior is going to be.
Almost like the doctor in a situation like that. Seeing
Absolutely.
the differences between the different locations, because they probably are approaching their business from different angles.
They are, and as with coaching, the key thing with coaching is that I'm that mirror for that team. So I coach them live. They go to meetings, and I'm there as their coach, holding them accountable so they can hold themselves accountable on what they wanted to work with. So my last team, when we retested them, they had a 36% improvement in productivity. And that's a large number.
Well, that certainly goes all the way down to the bottom line, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
It's great to have you here at the Falls. I hope you enjoyed yourself as well as the speech.
Very much.
And we'll see you on Who is Arizona shortly.
Sounds great. Thank
Thank
you.
you.